I lost that fish.
You can't see the limb above, but I was setting the hook so hard because I have been losing so many fish that I wrapped my line around the tree limb. So I'm just gonna stand up and unravel it from the tree. It's really not that big of a deal to stand up in this kayak. It's actually pretty easy, and you can move around and do something while you're standing. As long as your coordination is good.
Oh!
I always like how every time I miss a fish, it's like I just missed the biggest fish, in the lake, the biggest crappie in the world. Every time. And it don't matter how little that sucker is, when I lose it, it's like I have lost the biggest crappie in the world. So, yeah, so I'm going to take a break and take a drink and get back on that spot and try to redeem myself. Yeah, watch me redeem myself.
Oh my goodness.
Crappie nibble and a little bit of shad scent will really help when they're just nibbling at it and you can't really get the hook set in good. So always if you're having that situation, add that scent to it and a little nibble to it. Maybe they'll hold on to it a little longer, give you a chance to get a good hook set on.
Oh, good. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Oh, my God.
Hey guys, you can see from those bloopers I got going there is that finding the fish is not an issue today. It's going to be getting the hook set in it. It's going to be an issue today, and also finding good quality fish, getting a good quality fish to bite. So you can take on some keepers. So I'm at Lake Ray Roberts. I launched my kayak at the Bug Creek boat ramp, and I want to say it's a pretty good boat ramp for launching kayaks. I know there's a lot of kayaks getting launched at this boat ramp, and I want to say the reason why is because the fishing area is easy to get to from a kayak, but the boat ramp, I mean, you launch your kayak and then you have to drive up a hill to park, and then once you park, you got to go down some stairs to get back to the boat ramp, and then you get back from the boat ramp, you gotta walk up some stairs to get back. And I found that going down the stairs wasn't a big deal, but after fishing for 6 hours and going up the stairs was a pretty good challenge to get back up there to get to your vehicle to bring it back down to pick up your kayak. And another thing is when you drop off your kayak here on this lake or your boat or whatever you drop off, if you're by yourself, you're going to have to leave it unattended while you go up and park your vehicle. So that's something to think about when you fish this, when you use this boat ramp and you fish in this area. So one of the things I wanted to talk about today is the presentation. Watch my rod tip and watch my how I'm presenting that bait. At the beginning, I'm dropping the line down, and I'm on this particular day, almost every single time I touch the bottom and work my way up. But I tried to show that bait to these fish several different ways to try to get the bigger ones to bite. I mean, I caught a lot of little bitty crappie, but I had to thin them out to get to the bigger ones.
Following this creek channel.
Yeah.
Following this creek channel, and whenever it loops around or we'll take a big dip, that's why I've been looking for trees in that area. That's what I've been hitting. The last two trees, they full of crappie, but they wasn't. I get one or two of them out of there, and that's about it.
And they stop. Yeah. That's what I'm getting.
Trees is packed with them. Like right out here, there's two creeks that come together.
See, that one wasn't very deep.
And I'm finding them right between about 15 feet.
15 feet?
Yeah.
After missing a few fish, I changed the way I set my hook. I hit this one spot and it had a lot of crappie on it, and over again I kept catching small ones. And you're gonna run into this challenge also. You're gonna be in a spot and you're gonna be catching a bunch of little crappie, and you're not gonna want to move because you're catching fish. But at some point you just gotta give up on hoping that that's going to be a keeper there, and move on and try to find good fish. I mean, this area was just covered with 8-inch crappie, and so I finally gave up on it and moved on. And I mean, it's tough to do, man, because every time I lowered my jig into the water, I mean, boom, there was another one there. If you were fishing with live baits, say you were fishing with some minnows, I would put those minnows up and just lower a jig into this, because I mean, these fish could eat a half pound of minnows in an hour. I mean, they're just stacked in there, and they're just gonna snatch every minnow you put down into the water. So. Then just throw jigs at them, and then hopefully you can catch some keepers. But I'm sure that this spot did not hold any bigger fish. I think that it was just so many of those small ones, the bigger ones just probably decided to not even hang around that spot. They just moved on. And it was like, okay, I'm not going to compete with all these little guys. So this is not my first time fishing this area, so I didn't start with my orange jig that I normally start with when I'm fishing a new spot, but I did decide to start with a natural color bait, and a pretty good size, a pretty good size profile, hoping to avoid some of the smaller fish, but that didn't work. But that natural bait, I mean, these fish were, they didn't hesitate to hit it and try to swallow it. I mean, normally I would never hook a fish in the gut, and I hooked, some fish in the gut, and I usually try to take pride in not gut hooking fish. I mean, because when you do that, I mean, so you're putting an 8-inch fish back in the water, it may not survive. So the perfect hook is the lip hook them, and when they tap that thing, get that hook set quick. And but I was showing that natural color, and these fish were, they were really aggressive towards it, especially those small ones. Okay guys, so it's mid-September. We done had a few cold fronts come in, and it's cooling things down. Fish are more active, they're feeding, they're in that fall pattern, they're feeding for, I believe they're feeding to bulk up for the winter haul. So you better get out there and hit your spot, because the fish are really active, and it's just going to be a challenge to get pushed through the small ones and to get to your keepers. I ended up with a handful of keepers. I think I had plus 12, 13 or so, and so it wasn't a bad day at all. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and also hit that notification button. The next spot I'm going to fish is going to be really interesting. It's a river, and it's going to be really nice to fish this river in a kayak, because there's the water's not moving, and everything's going to be like really calm. So make sure you check it out.
To me, I'm finding they're on trees, not just single trees, but like little group of trees.
Yeah.
They're not just like, that tree is not just, they on like 2 or 3 together.
Yeah, only time I seen them on one tree is it was a pretty good size. But if it was a small tree, it had to be a group of them.
Yeah. They had to have some branches down there.
Yeah. But I think I only lost one hook today.
I lost one hook, but I lost, I don't know, what, 20 fish?
Which that's fishing standing timber. I mean, that's, yeah. I was like, I started just setting my hook on everything I felt because I didn't feel like I was going to get hung up on the timber. So that's when I started really catching all the little ones.